Hello, I'm Dan Genovese, Director of Consulting at EnerCom, and I'm here today with Anwar Sadek. He is the CEO and co-founder of Corrolytics. They are a pipeline integrity company that's got some new technology to assess chemistry, and they will be presenting at the Energy Venture Investment Summit. That's an in-person conference in Golden, Colorado on the campus of the Colorado School of Mines. That's February 16th and 17th. And Anwar will be presenting at 3:45 p.m. That's Mountain Time, again, in person in Golden, Colorado. Welcome today, Anwar.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people might not have heard about you. You guys are an emerging company, a startup, and you have an incredible technology. For our viewers, if you could just take a minute and kind of share about what you guys are doing at Corrolytics.
Oh, yeah, I would love to do that. So Corrolytics was founded in 2020. We are a startup company based out of University of Akron. So our research team had been conducting studies with this technology for over a decade, thanks to NSF I-Core program, where we were able to identify the microbial corrosion problem and how much there was a need to solve this problem. So at Corrolytics, we are developing a smart test kit, which is based on electrochemical technology to determine when microbial growth inside of oil and gas pipelines will lead to corrosion. This is the first kit able to differentiate between biotic corrosion from the abiotic corrosion. As we know, the most important factor is the mitigation plan, and it is very specific for each type of corrosion. So current monitoring approaches cannot accurately provide when these microbes are growing and causing corrosion. That's where our technology comes in.
Yeah, and as we were discussing, you know, prior to starting the interview, is pipeline integrity, based on, you know, my experience in oil and gas, is a significant issue, if not the number one issue, with respect to midstream companies, whether you're refined products or whether you're E&P production and transportation. Interstate pipelines, pipeline integrity is just huge. So what's the market currently doing, and what does Corrolytics add to the market that allows pipeline companies to address problems earlier and more decisively?
So our technology is primarily detecting the microbial corrosion sector. If you look at the data that this corrosion problem is causing a huge impact, like you said, but 50% of this corrosion cost is associated with microbial corrosion. So our technology would be able to tell the pipeline operators or asset integrity managers or even corrosion engineers to let them know when these microbes are specifically growing inside pipelines and if they are really causing corrosion. So our technology would be able to detect that on time, giving them a mitigation plan specific to biotic corrosion. So that will help them save the integrity of the pipelines ahead of time before it is highly compromised.
Yeah. Now, most companies are using pigging technology as probably their primary analytic source for pipeline corrosion. Corrolytics, is yours easier? Is it faster? Is it something that would be used in conjunction with pigging as well? Explain a little bit about that.
So yeah, so what they do right now is they do a lot of technique at this moment where they use something called bug bottles. So they take out a pipe samples and put it in those bug bottles, and based on color changes, they just say that if there are microbes present or not. And I mean, presence of microbes doesn't really necessarily mean they're causing corrosion. They do other techniques called inserting metal coupons inside pipelines, and they leave the coupons anywhere from 3 months up to a year. And even the probes are physically challenging to install and uninstall. On top of that, improper installation probe is another reason for leaks and failures.
Yeah.
And next, they're sending these coupons to the lab with liquid samples to find out if there are microbes growing and they're causing corrosion. One of the problems is that labs are sending back huge reports, which are difficult to read for the operators. And a lot of these tests have very high rates of false positive or false negative. And so where our technology comes in is that letting them know when these microbes are growing and causing corrosion would be very helpful. For example, like you mentioned, pigging. So every time in the pipeline they do chemical treatment, they have to do pigging first. Otherwise, it is kind of like not much helpful if they just put biocides or chemical treatment. So right now, without knowing, they do it multiple times a year, and it's costing them millions of dollars, both on chemicals, biocides, and pigging. So with our technology, it will let them know when they're growing, so they will reduce the number of pigging and also reduce the amount of doses they use in the pipelines.
Yeah, Anwar, this also sounds like something that a midstream company or a transmission company could be using with respect to their ESG strategy as well. From an environmental standpoint, from a social standpoint, that pipeline integrity, nobody wants to be leaking, into somebody's, onto somebody's land, or in an easement or something like that. So that's something that can be thought of. I know that you guys are still working on the value proposition. Tell me a little bit about where you're at on the economics and value of Corrolytics.
So like I mentioned earlier, Dan, they're going to have a specific mitigation plan, and that will not only save the safety of the pipelines, and also it will provide them what actions to take specifically at that time, instead of gas working and using chemicals and biocides, which is a huge environmental factor. Apart from that, right now, however they're spending in millions of dollars worth of biocides, that would be reduced, because our technology would be able to tell them when these microbes are growing. So instead of using 4 doses of biocides, maybe they will use 1 time now, because they will know exactly when they're growing. So keeping this pipeline safe for both environmental and social aspect is very vital. And we believe our technology would be a great impact, not only to save them money, but also to save a huge impact on the environment as well.
Yeah, safety, lower cost, incredible drivers.
Correct.
You can see the value proposition in that. So I know we'll wrap up with what's next. I know that you guys have 2022 planned out in terms of field tests coming up. I think in the middle of the year, and then commercialization toward the end of the year, first of 2023. Can you give us just a little bit of a better view of where you're headed this year?
Correct. So currently, we do have a working, tested out laboratory technology. We are trying to build a prototype which can be used out in the field as a kit, which is easy to use and convenient to get fast result and data. So at this time, we are in talk with a couple of oil and gas companies who wanted our technology like yesterday. So even before we are releasing our kit, we are getting into an agreement where they will send us their oil and gas samples, and in the lab we will be testing their samples to let them know when microbial corrosion is happening. So along this path of the line, before we even release technology, we are looking into more companies who are willing to share their oil and gas samples, so we can have in-depth laboratory analysis. At the same time, by 2023, we will have an MVP ready to test out in the field.
Yeah, it sounds like a great technology for the Berkshires, the Kinders, the Williams type companies to be exploring and working with you on. I want to remind everybody, come here, Corrolytics and Anwar present at the Energy Venture Investment Summit in Golden, Colorado. That's February 16th and 17th. Go online and register, plan to attend. They'll be presenting at 3:45 p.m. Mountain Time on Thursday, February 17th. Really looking forward to it. Prior to that, on the 16th, there will be a welcome and kickoff cocktail reception. You'll have a chance to meet Anwar and his team and ask them questions even prior to the presentation, and start that discussion about their technology, not only how to invest, but also if you are a pipeline company, how to apply it, and how you can work with them as they roll this out. Anwar, thank you for your time today. We look forward to seeing you in February.
Thank you so much, Dan. We are very excited to be there. Thank you again.
Great. See ya.
See ya.